Hello and welcome to our third Astro Dog Night Sky Guide video. In this edition of our Night Sky Guide, we will be going over what to look out for during the month of March 2025. While our nights are still getting shorter, March is still a great time to do a bit of stargazing, and there's some very special night and daytime celestial sights to look out for, including a total lunar eclipse and a partial solar eclipse. The month of March also hosts the spring vernal equinox. It's a great time to see the faint zodiacal light to the west in the early evening, and March also sees the much anticipated return of the Milky Way core, so there's lots to look forward to throughout this March. Just before we begin our night sky guide for March, we would like to say that the following information for the most part is intended for the average stargazer or landscape astrophotographer that lives in the UK and doesn't own a large telescope. If we do cover anything that requires a telescope to observe, this will be mentioned along with the event or subject in question. The following information given also assumes your viewing location is in the centre of the UK at a latitude of around 50 degrees north. This means that details and times given may vary slightly for you depending on your location, but are otherwise a good general guide. All the times given are Universal Time, also known as Greenwich Mean Time unless otherwise stated. And one last thing to note is that the depictions and descriptions of the general monthly night sky views are given for times when the sky is at its darkest, with the specific times stated in text along with the graphical depictions. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive in. Sunrise and sunsets throughout March will be as follows. On the 1st, the sun will rise at 6:57 am and will set at 5:48 pm. On the 11th, the sun will rise at 6:33 am and set at 6:07 pm. On the 21st, the sun will rise at 6:09 am, set at 6:25 pm, and on the 31st, the sun will rise at 6:45 am and set at 7:43 pm. Moon phases now. The moon reached its new phase on the 28th of February, so we'll start the month as a waxing crescent. First quarter will occur on the 6th, full moon on the 14th, last quarter will be on the 22nd, and the new moon will be on the 29th. As usual, the moon will be paying some very close visits to the planets this month that will be discussed in more detail in our highlights section. For all the aurora enthusiasts, we are still within the aurora season, and when the skies are clear, the nights of March provide the perfect conditions to view the northern lights when they venture south to grace our skies. We are still in the middle of a period of time in the sun's 11-year cycle where the sun is more likely to show increased magnetic activity called solar maximum, and because of this there is the possibility that throughout 2025 we may be treated to more great auroral displays. It is also thought that the times around the equinoxes are more likely to result in increased auroral activity. This means there may be an increased chance of spotting the northern lights throughout the month of March too. There is however a downside to the equinox in that after the equinox our nights will rapidly start to become much shorter and brighter, meaning it will become harder to witness the aurora. However, let's all keep our fingers crossed for some great displays, and if you would like to be kept in the loop with regular updates and alerts for possible aurora displays, please follow our Facebook page. For admirers of the Milky Way, March is a very exciting time as this month sees the return of the Milky Way core. Throughout March, the faint west-facing winter Milky Way arch can still be seen in the early evening as darkness falls, and at the beginning of March in the early morning just before sunrise, a hint of the Milky Way core can be captured rising above the southeastern horizon. And by the end of March, the brightest portion of the Milky Way core can be photographed towards the south in the early morning twilight just before sunrise. Onto general nighttime sights now. Looking towards the north throughout March, you will be able to spot all the familiar circumpolar constellations, with the iconic asterism the Plough and the constellation Ursa Major visible straight above at the zenith in the middle of the night. The bright stars Deneb and Vega can be seen just above the horizon towards the north. The constellations of Hercules, Corona Borealis and Serpens Caput can be seen rising in the east, and the constellations of Aries and Taurus can be seen sinking low in the west. Looking south, Virgo is climbing higher in the southeast, Leo the Lion is high in the sky near the meridian in the middle of the night, and the distinctive constellation of Orion the Hunter is sinking towards the west. The grouping of winter constellations and the asterism known as the Winter Circle or Winter Hexagon will be slowly disappearing throughout March, so make sure to admire these beautiful celestial treats before they disappear until next winter. General bright planet viewing now. The start of March is still a great time for observing the three bright planets Venus, Jupiter and Mars. March will also be a great time to view the often elusive planet Mercury, which will be easiest to spot as it reaches greatest eastern elongation on the 8th. Towards the end of the month, however, Jupiter and Mars won't be around all night long like they have been in previous months, and Venus and Mercury will become impossible to spot as they both speed back towards the Sun. Throughout the month of March, the visible bright planets will all remain in the same constellations. Throughout March, Venus and Mercury will remain in Pisces, Jupiter is still in Taurus the Bull, and Mars can still be found in Gemini the Twins. Okay, so let's begin looking at our highlights for the month of March. This month we have an incredible selection of celestial spectacles to look out for, and starting off the month will be a special meeting of the Moon and the bright planet Venus. In the early evening of the 1st of March, the 4% illuminated waxing crescent moon will join the planets Venus and Mercury, and all three celestial treats will be found in the same area of sky. Look towards the southwest just after sunset and you will be able to spot the beautiful crescent moon sitting only 8.5 degrees below and left of the super bright planet Venus. And if you have a clear view of the horizon, you may also be able to spot the elusive planet Mercury 5 degrees below and right of the moon. Faint planet Neptune will also be around in this part of the sky, but unfortunately will not be possible to view. When viewing the moon during this event, it will appear as a beautiful thin crescent. However, you may also be able to see some detail on the darker portion of the moon too. This is due to an effect that is known as earthshine, when sunlight reflecting off the surface of the earth illuminates the darker portion of the moon. On the night of the 4th of March, the moon will be appearing fairly close by to the faint and distant planet Uranus. This means if you own a pair of binoculars or a telescope, the 4th will be a great chance to use the moon to help you locate the faint planet Uranus. Scan the area of sky to the left of the moon with an optical aid and you might be able to spot the small faint blue-green star-like point of light, which is the planet Uranus. On the night of the 5th into the morning of the 6th, the moon will be travelling close by to and appearing in between the open star cluster Pleiades, also known as the Seven Sisters, and the bright planet Jupiter. As twilight turns into darkness, the moon will appear closest to the Pleiades, but will slowly appear to move closer to Jupiter as the night progresses. On the evening of the 6th, the moon will still be close to Jupiter, but will appear on the opposite side of Jupiter compared to the previous night of the 5th. On the evening of the 8th, the planet Mercury will reach what is known as greatest eastern elongation, and will appear at its furthest distance away from the Sun in our post-sunset twilight skies. This means the early evening of the 8th of March will be an excellent time to observe the often elusive planet Mercury. Mercury is often very hard to spot as it always appears close to the horizon due to it being the innermost planet in our solar system. However, because the path the planets appear to travel across in our sky, that is known as the ecliptic, is at a fairly steep angle in our early evenings at this moment in time, this will make Mercury at greatest eastern elongation fairly easy to spot compared to most other times of the year. If you want to observe Mercury, look to the west below super bright Venus just after sunset on the evenings on or around the 8th, and you might just be able to spot the elusive planet Mercury. The evening of the 8th and into the morning of the 9th will also host another special celestial event, when the moon will pay a very close visit to the red planet Mars. Throughout the night of the 8th, you will be able to witness the moon approaching the red planet Mars until at around 1:48 am the two luminaries will be separated by only 55 arc seconds. In the early evening of the 13th, the super bright planet Venus will appear close by to the elusive planet Mercury. This will be a great time to observe the two inferior planets in our solar system before they begin to race back towards the Sun and disappear from view for a while. The night of the 13th into the morning of the 14th will host the full moon of March, which is known to some as the worm moon. The moment that the moon will appear most illuminated will be in the early morning of the 14th, but don't worry if you don't get to see the moon on the night of the 13th, the moon will still appear full on the nights either side of the 13th. The early morning of the 14th will also host another very special celestial event, a total lunar eclipse. However, the time the eclipse will occur will unfortunately mean that for most of us in the UK, we will not be able to witness the moment of greatest eclipse, as this will occur after the moon has set. If you live on the far west of the UK, however, you will stand a better chance of viewing the entire surface of the moon entering the Earth's umbral shadow. The eclipse will begin at around 3:57 when the moon will start to enter the Earth's faint outer shadow known as the penumbra. As the moon enters the penumbra, It will be very hard to recognise any change in the moon's appearance as the penumbral shadow is very faint. However, when the moon begins to enter the darker central umbral shadow of the Earth at 5:09, it will begin to darken noticeably. From this moment, it will take 1 hour and 17 minutes for the moon to fully enter the Earth's umbral shadow, and the moon will reach totality at 6:26. At this moment in time, for the majority of us in the UK, the moon will be just about to completely set, and the brightening morning skies will make it very hard to witness this eclipse. However, despite the unfavourable timing of this eclipse, if you can, we recommend heading out in the early morning to try and witness this very special event. The day of the 20th of March will be the spring or vernal equinox. On this day, the sun will rise exactly to the east and set exactly in the west, and every country on Earth will experience roughly the same amount of daytime and nighttime. The spring equinox marks the change of season from winter to spring, and from this moment onwards, every following day until the autumn equinox in September, daytime will be longer than nighttime. There is evidence to suggest that the times around equinoxes are more likely to show increased geomagnetical and auroral activity. However, some consider the time just after the spring equinox to be the end of the aurora season due to the nights rapidly becoming shorter and brighter. Nevertheless, as the amazing all-sky auroral display in May 2024 showed us, this isn't always true. So let's keep all our fingers crossed that this year's spring equinox will be a great one for all of us aurora hunters. On the 29th of March, the moon will reach its new phase, leaving the skies free from natural light pollution, which means the nights on and around the 29th will be ideal for viewing faint objects in the night sky and/or taking photographs of the night sky. However, on the same date during the daytime on the 29th, another very special celestial event will be taking place, when the moon will travel in front of the sun, resulting in a partial lunar eclipse. This amazing celestial event is our must-see highlight for the month of March 2025. The eclipse will begin at roughly 10:07 when first contact will occur. At this moment, the moon will appear to touch the edge of the sun and begin to slowly obscure the right-hand side of the solar disk. From this moment onwards, the moon will slowly appear to take an ever-increasingly sized bite out of the solar disk until at around 11:05 maximum eclipse will occur. At the moment of maximum eclipse, depending on your location, you may be able to see between 28.1% and 47.8% of the sun's surface being obscured by the moon. The eclipse will favour those at the far northwest of the UK, with those in the southeast of the UK seeing the smaller percentage and those in the northwest of the UK seeing the higher percentage of the sun's surface being eclipsed. After maximum eclipse, the moon will slowly travel away from the sun, uncovering its surface, and at around 12:03, the partial solar eclipse will end at the moment of last contact and the moon will travel away from the sun. The eclipse will be well placed for viewing in the UK, with the sun being high in the sky for the whole event. However, if you wish to view the solar eclipse directly, you will require to take full precautions and only view the event with a certified pair of solar eclipse glasses. Another way to safely view the eclipse will be to make a pinhole projector to project the image of the sun onto a flat surface. If you wish to take photographs of this event, you will also need to use certified solar filters to protect your camera. The partial solar eclipse in March promises to be an amazing event, so we recommend getting hold of some certified solar eclipse glasses and experiencing this incredible celestial spectacle for yourself. So there you go, there's lots of exciting astronomical events to look out for this March, and we hope you all get to enjoy some of them when you are out under the night sky. Just before we finish up this third edition of our Night Sky Guide, we would like to mention that starting from the 14th of March, we will be hosting lots of public stargazing events over the weekends throughout March, so if you would be interested in visiting us at our cosy stargazing hub under the beautifully dark skies of Dalby Forest for a magical night of learning and gazing at the heavens, please head to our website astro-dog.co.uk for more information and to make a booking. Once again, we would like to say a huge thank you to all our followers and everyone that has shown their support for our small business. And if you know anyone who you think would like what we do, please feel free to invite them to our social pages and our YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed this third edition of our Night Sky Guide, and we hope this information will help you all in seeing some of the amazing celestial events that we have throughout this March. If you liked this video and found it useful, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more regular astronomy content, including regular alerts and updates for the Northern Lights. As always, if you head out to enjoy the night sky at any point in the near future, we wish you all good luck and clear skies.